boy in a band who was accused of like horrible shit, all right? Horrible shit of the sexual type, all right? That's all I'm gonna say. But yeah, I figure before we get into this, I felt it was appropriate to establish a few things, okay? His Boyinaband's age is 35 and his birthplace is England, right? So he lives in England and he's 35. The age of consent in England, by the way, age of consent literally doesn't mean anything. It's just like an arbitrary number we made up. The age of consent everywhere should be 18 or higher, in my opinion. It's it's honestly gross that in any country, like, especially like the UK, bro, like you're gonna be in England and the age of consent is gonna be 16, bro. Like, come on now, that's fucking nasty. You get your shit together, bro. Like, yeah, bro, like I figured those things were good to establish before we got into this video.
In this video, I'm gonna.
So yeah, the Boyinaband allegations. This is a good video actually. I'll give our girl Jalen a like. Oh, and she hit 300K. I didn't even notice that. Congrats.
Be talking about some very sensitive topics, and I want to make sure you guys know that these are just allegations.
Yeah, I should also clarify that they're just allegations. None of this shit is proven, and honestly, I have a few criticisms for the thing. And yeah,
Boyinaband has not responded to any of the claims made against him. Also, if you guys could like and share this video, that would be greatly appreciated, as most likely YouTube is not going to push this out due to the subject matter. So I'm sure you guys know who Boyinaband is. He's a pretty popular.
Bro, his looks ain't helping him. I'm just bro, I just thought it was serious and I'm cracking a joke, bro. But like, come on, man. His looks are not helping him at all, bro. Like, if you told me to point out a pedophile in a room and Boyinaband was there, bro, I would point at him. I'm just gonna say
Their YouTuber has over 3 million subscribers and has worked with creators such as PewDiePie and Jaden Animations. Now, a couple years ago, he ended up disappearing off of the internet. And over a year ago, he would post on his community tab talking about his struggles with his mental health and finding medication that could help him. And over the last year, Boyinaband has been completely silent. And a lot of people have wondered what exactly
crickets from Boyinaband, okay? This fucking emo twink hasn't said a thing.
Happened to him? Well, recently,
what happened?
A group of
I killed him. I'm gonna increase this video, bro. Jalen talks too slow, bro. Maybe I'm just like too like autistic, bro. But like a lot of these people when they talking, they ain't talking fast enough. Okay, you need to fucking pick up the pace. All right.
Of girls ended up coming forward detailing his alleged abuse on his subreddit. Dave from Boyinaband, over a decade of abuse underneath an almost perfect public persona. Dear fans of Dave from Boyinaband, first of all, thank you for your time and understanding. We want you to know that we intended and tried to handle this as privately and as quietly as possible. Some time ago, a group of his ex-partners wrote a letter to his family in hopes of stopping the outgoing pattern of abuse. Below, you can read that letter. We know there were more victims of his in the past, and if you're one of them and we didn't find you before, message us. All we want to do is tell you that you're not alone and that none of it was your fault. Thank you. Dear Brown family.
So basically at the beginning, right, they're just clarifying like, hey, if you're a victim, please come forward. We know this guy is a bit of a deviant. All right, we know there's multiple victims, so yeah, that's basically what they're saying in this little beginning part.
Friends and fans of Dave from Boyinaband, we apologize for contacting you this way. We are a group of girls who knew and dated David in real life for, depending on the person, 1 to 6 years. Some of us met some of you personally. We know you love David and want to see him as a good person and a role model. We were also the people who once loved him and cared about him deeply. We understand that you want to see him happy.
Oh yeah, no, but I think it's good to point out they all dated him from like 1 to 6 years, right? So I mean, everybody at least dated him for a year, right? So if we are to believe what is being said here, they all know him at least fairly well, right?
Happy. Still, decades of
like if you like a month, like dating someone for a month and dating someone for a year is very different. I'll point that out. It should be obvious, but
of enabling his abusive behavior have led to many horrific and dangerous situations that included years of lies, manipulation, and emotional, financial, physical, and even sexual abuse of many young girls. As you know, David is now a 35-year-old polyamorous man with over a decade of
That's the first red flag, bro. Polyamorous, bro. Whenever I see a polyamorous person, bro, I can't help but think like, what are you doing? What is really going on? What's really going on, bro? Like, no normal person is poly. I'm just gonna say that, man.
History of dating girls much younger than him, including his highly gullible, obsessive young fans. As you know, he once dated Rachel, who was 17 when he was 23. Rachel was a fan.
Yeah, bro. Big yikes, all right? 17 and 23, all right? Like, oh, that is really... If we're believing this at face value, right? Like, obviously it's legal, so I don't think he should go to... Like, okay, let me be clear. They should change the laws so he goes to jail. But at the current moment in the UK, it's not illegal, so he's not going to go to jail. Right? But, like, bro, if he's really doing this shit, he should if he was doing this shit recently, he should definitely be fucking like kicked off. Like that's all I'm saying.
Fan of his band and fell in love with him when she was just 15 years old. David ended up hitting
Yeah,
her
bro. And like when she was just 15, that's a clear indicator of like grooming, right? Like
and telling that to at least 2 of his future girlfriends, which we can also prove. Let us add that this
actually that part may be illegal. I'm not very well versed on UK law because you know I'm an American boy, all right. But I don't know what their grooming laws. But if that's illegal, throw him in jail. But then again, bro, like there's some pretty key points that this little docket here is lacking. So I don't like I really shouldn't be condemning him this hard, right? Like I really shouldn't be, because there are some very key points within this that like make me not trust this doc so much. I'm gonna just put it like that.
In many countries would be considered as pedophilia. There are 2 videos on his channel that include
that's why did you add that? Let's add this relationship in many countries we consider as pedophilia. Just like, you don't have to add that. Most people would see 17 and 23 and consider that fucking gross. You don't like. And the fact of the matter is, it's not considered pedophilia where he lives, so like he can't be arrested. Like I don't know what to say.
17-year-old Rachel. In one, he brags about waking up next to her. In the second, he makes her sing a song with the following lyrics: "Take me without my consent." And I'll play that right now.
Okay, feel free to post your track as a video response to this one. Now it's time to sit back and take a listen to the final finished 7-day dance pop song.
So I guess this is like the first little bit of evidence here, right? Like I guess this is the evidence that this Rachel person actually knows Boyinaband. Like, because like that's an important thing to establish, is that you actually have contact with Boyinaband, you actually knew him, right? Like and like that's kind of the unfortunate thing about this Reddit post, right? Is like they don't include a lot of the names, they like a lot of them are anonymous, right? So like I don't like this song doesn't really prove much, but I mean, sure. Like I would need to see, like I need proof that this is Rachel and that she was 17 at the time, and that, well, I mean, I guess if they were like they slept together, then he would probably know, right?
He has a pattern of preying on his young fans after they admire him and write to him on his social media. He starts to date them.
Now see, like if that's true, that's really bad, but you gotta prove it, right? Like that's where this document fails. It doesn't prove anything. It doesn't prove any of these girls had contact with them. It doesn't prove much at all.
Them how much he loves them, that they are replaceable, and finally discards them for new ones as soon as they disagree or refuse to do whatever he wants. Most of these encounters include him renting an Airbnb to be with those girls for a few weeks, then discarding them. We know this is difficult for you to read, but it needs to be said. He also has a provable porn addiction that includes him being attracted to pre-teenage girls, women who dress to look like children, abuse.
Yes, that's another thing. Like you could like the porn addiction. Like I don't care too much about, but then it says he's attracted to pre-teenage girls. Like what does that mean, right? Are they talking about like schoolgirl porn? Like I think schoolgirl porn is fucking gross, right? But at the end of the day, it's not that weird, okay? Like on the level of like fucking weird shit you can be into, like schoolgirl porn is like, it's not that bad, right? Like if somebody's just into schoolgirl porn, like I don't know, maybe you shouldn't be a fucking teacher. Like that's it. I don't know, bro. And also like if it's provable that he has this porn addiction where he looks at like he's attracted to pre-teenage girls, then why don't you prove it, right? Like why don't you improve some evidence within this Reddit post, right? It doesn't make any sense to me that you wouldn't improve that if it's so easy.
Abusive porn and assaults. He's a hebephile. It's sickening, especially considering that he dedicated his career to helping struggling young people and ended up harming many of them. Many of his past partners ended up in years of therapy due to the trauma caused by David. He has a pattern of dating and sleeping with a specific group of girls, younger. Most of his recent girlfriends were 10 or more years younger than him, over whom he has power and
Bro, I don't like if they're 2 consenting adults and they're 10 years or older. Like if they're 2 consenting adults, I don't really care about the age gap, right? Like it makes you a fucking freak if you're like 30, if you're like 35 dating a 20-year-old, right? But I don't think you should be like kicked off your platform and arrested, right? Like I just think you're like a fucking weirdo who should be laughed at and mocked endlessly, right?
Control and who will never be his equals. What we mean by that is young, poor girls, often students with no careers yet, whom he can impress by his success and money. He exclusively.
I don't care that he was like, I don't know, bro. I don't care that he was specifically like. I don't know, bro. Like it's kind of weird that they would mention the girls are poor and shit, right? When like the main focus should be on their age, right? Like how old are they? Prove that you know that. Prove that you actually know these people. Like prove that this actually happened, right? Like that's what this focus should be on. I don't care that he like often went after poor people.
He chooses girls with a vast gap.
I also go after poor people, but like bullying them.
And money and influence so he can manipulate and mold them. Most of them were too scared to speak about it due to this reason. His preferences also include a physical superiority over his partners, looking very
Yeah, like, what does that mean, bro? What does it mean his preference include a physical superiority, right? Does it just mean he prefers to be taller than his girlfriend? A lot of guys like that. A lot of guys like to be stronger than their girlfriend. A lot of guys like to be, taller than their girlfriend. Like, that means literally fucking nothing to me. Like, I don't know, bro. It just muddies the water when you include all this shit. Like, when you try and throw everything at the wall and, like, it makes nothing stick, right?
Very young, pre-adolescent, usually very skinny, and if not, he encourages them to lose weight, calling them lazy and disgusting. That's from a man who made a song with Jaded Animations to help girls with anorexia. Now, speaking of that song he made with Jaded Animations, it appears that she has actually removed that song off of her YouTube channel. Now, this may be completely...
I mean, I guess that adds, like, some sort of credence to the allegations, right? That, like, oh, maybe she has some insider information, but, like, I don't know, maybe she's just, like, a bitch and, like, immediately privated it to avoid backlash. I don't know, bro.
Unrelated. It's entirely possible that maybe she just didn't like the song anymore. However, with this...
Bro, obviously that's not what happened. I'm gonna be honest, okay? Like, guy gets accused of being a pedophile, and then, oh, I don't like the song anymore. Come on, Jalen. You know that's not what's up at all.
Now, it is definitely kind of suspicious that that song has been removed. He coerced multiple young girls into being polyamorous, even if it was something they had never considered before him. He advertises it as a superior way of living, which is highly inappropriate if not abusive. He tells his partners that they're replaceable, disappears if they don't do everything he wants, and treats...
So yeah, like, this is all, like, abusive, shitty behavior, right? But, like, why don't you show a screenshot of him doing literally any of this, bro? Like, come on, please. Like, that's all. I only need, like, one screenshot, bro. Please.
...them with zero empathy. They mean nothing to him outside of his pleasure, his wants, and his entertainment. When girls want to leave, he either blocks them before they can confront him, or uses his depression and suicidality as cards to force them to stay until he gets bored of them. He uses
that's really shitty too. Like, unironically, if you, like, use your suicide to try and, like, have a partner stay with you, maybe you should kill yourself. I don't know, bro.
To control girls by justifying why he treats them like garbage or playing the victim card. He refuses to take any personal responsibility and accountability for how cruel, vindictive, callous, hurtful, and abusive he is. If you ever wondered why years of therapy never really helped him, it's because he cannot face who he really is, and he's unable to take ownership of the things he did, painting himself in bright light in front of his therapist. Over the last few years, he repeatedly mixed his medications, including antidepressants/ADHD medication, with whiskey and weed. He used, abused, and left so many girls that he could, at this point, write an alphabet from the first letters of their names. Please remember, he advertises himself as a male feminist to the entire...
Male feminist? Guilty, bro. Dude, all I've learned, like, from a lot of male feminists, right, is, like, a lot of them are creepy as fuck and actual, like, creeps, bro. Like, in this... I don't know, if we were to believe this, I guess this is another case of that.
Well, in reality, he's an abuser of multiple young girls. He acts similarly with his friends, treating them badly as replaceable, lying about them to make himself look good or to get what he wants. For example, when after having no contact for more than a decade with his bandmates, out of the blue, he tweeted that they used to ignore his self-harm, which was a lie, confirmed and confronted by his bandmates on Twitter and on Reddit years ago. Darren admitted that they talked after and both apologized, but Dave never acknowledged that and left that tweet on his front page for almost 2 years now, sending his Twitter mob on his past friends who have normal lives. And Dave got thousands of sympathy tweets from young girls that strongly relate.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, that's shitty, bro, but I don't care. Talk about the allegations, like the fucking Povlex one. Come on, talk about the allegations, bro.
To the problem of self-harm. He does things like that to get attention and pity all the time. Again, we are sorry that you had to read it. We're not his haters, not witch hunters, and not strangers. We don't want anything. We're not interested in being associated with him anyway. All we want to do is warn his young fans about what can happen to them. Like you, we used to care about him. But he has to be stopped. Ours and yours enabling of this has to stop. He needs to face himself and meet the responsibility for the people he hurt before even more young girls get severely damaged, which they will then carry for the rest of their lives. Depression cannot be used as an excuse to treat people this way. Treating any human being this way is inexcusable. Nobody has been left by him unharmed. Below, you can find a little bit of proof of how he treated people, confirmed and proven by multiple of his ex-girlfriends and friends that he had hurt and replaced over the years. We know that you care about the persona he made for himself on the internet. We know you want him to be happy, but he's not happy. He destroys people. He's an abuser, a groomer, a hebephile. We know this is hard. We never wanted to do this. But what about those girls? What about future ones? They're people. This needs to stop. He needs to be stopped, please. Sincerely. What started as 5 girls is now way in the double digits. P.S. Let this be a lesson about romanticizing those who are mentally ill, especially with a young audience. We think and talk about depression.
Yeah, good little moral here at the end, but I'm mostly interested in these receipts, all right? That's what we're interested in. That's what the Sailor Nation, we love our receipts, okay?
If we can stop just
Sailors got receipts.
I'll sleep better at night. Please do the same. Thank you. And here they provide several DMs from anonymous victims. I'm so glad to see this being talked about publicly. He's abusive and dehumanizing to many of the women he dates. He dates young women from his fan pool and pushes the sexual boundaries of others. He shouldn't be anywhere near young women, or women frankly. Every single woman reading this who fancies him or is dating him, etc. deserves better. What he has become makes me feel sick. Same.
So I guess this is two people talking about him, right? Which is like, I don't know. That's not really evidence, right? Let's not. I mean, I guess if is there a date on this? Like, it's super sketchy to me that, like, the date is cut off of this text message, right? Like, when were you talking about this? Like, it would be way convincing if this conversation was from like a couple months ago, right? Like, why would you cut off the date? It doesn't make any sense to me.
Covering of all of this with poor mental health.
I guess our our buddy Jalen would have done that. I don't think Jalen would have done that though.
It's
like,
an excuse for
random,
everything,
like,
making some of
cropped
the
it
girls feel like,
this.
well, he was honest about his depression, so maybe I should have known that can happen. Maybe I just don't hospital for the criminally
Yeah, I
insane.
don't-
He was massively hung up on her in a very creepy way, said he liked to hurt her, and was obsessed with
Said like this isn't proof though. I don't get it. Here, maybe.
That's what he liked about her. I'm going to back my chats with this girl and compiling more screenshots. She was 17, recently turned 18. Dave was 27. It was odd because I knew they would probably had something going on given he was poly, and she was head over heels for him. But with me, he always handled it as her being the one obsessing over him and him just accepting it because
Yeah, so there's still these aren't like, let me be clear again, these are not conversations between Boyinaband and the victims. These are conversations between the victim and another person talking about what Boyinaband did, right? And all the dates are cut off of these screenshots, so we don't know when they had this conversation, right? Like they could have like faked this today. Like I'm not saying they did, but like, God, why would you cut off the date? It makes no fucking sense.
why not? He made me
Maybe I'm retarded. Did she link the original? Well, let's go look at the screenshots here. All right, where I don't know how fucking Reddit works. Where is the screenshots? Does anyone know how fucking Reddit works? I hate this dog shit website. I'm too skinny to be using Reddit right now. Is this where it is? No, it wasn't Jalen that cropped them like this. They're cropped like this on the fucking thing. Like, that makes me not trust your story at all when you're cropping even the dates out of these fucking text messages, dude. Why would you do that? Like, show me what date you were saying this. And also show me text messages between you and Dave, bro. Come on.
and clean the whole time I stayed with him in person, anywhere to earn my keep. And you know why it makes sense now? Because what woman who's age appropriate for him would put up with that shit? Only young girls who don't know any better. Exactly. He would justify everything with some women would be happy with this. This is what my mom does, and she's clearly happy. Like, okay, your mom is clearly mentally ill. Clear threats about being replaceable too. Like, if you don't like it, I'll find someone who will. And you knew he could just bump up any other girl he was seeing and make good on it. He does the same with friends. As soon as someone isn't going to put up with his behavior, he's gone to other ones, except for his famous friends. What a complete waste of life. There's worse stuff, to be honest, but it's hard to talk about. I will just say he's the reason I know the definition of hebephile. And it looks like right here they're saying that he would make them pay their rents for sexual favors. It's never explicitly laid out like that, but it's what happens. And there is over like 60 of these claims. And if you want to go check it out, I will link this in the description.
Yeah, dude, I don't know, bro. Fuck off. Sure, that's me. I don't know, bro. It's just, like, are any of these between him and the victim? Are all these, like, I worked so hard, I was also fucked. Like, these are all people talking about him. That doesn't, like, especially because all the dates are cut off. This doesn't prove anything. I don't get it. There is no proof in this allegation. I don't get why people are taking it so seriously. I fucking hate this, bro.
Down below. All I'm gonna say is that if any of this is true, this guy needs to be stopped. And
I mean, I agree, but, like, it doesn't seem there's any fucking evidence. I don't get it. I don't understand. Like, the best thing we have is this song. And
Okay, feel
does it credit her in the description? Might as well see the version. Check it out. No, there's no credit to anyone. So how do I know? Like, this could be just some random girl and they just said, oh, look, it's me. And I was groomed. What? What? Does anyone in the chat have any thoughts about this, bro? I'm baffled right now, dude. Especially because I've seen this allegation held with, like, so much fucking weight, dude. But there's no evidence at all, man.